China is going through a serious shakeup in its military right now. Several of the country's most senior officers have been placed under investigation in recent weeks as part of a major drive against corruption. This has affected the top levels of the People's Liberation Army, the world's largest armed force, and raised concerns about stability and readiness. At the center of this crisis is General Zhang Youxia, China's highest-ranking uniformed officer and vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, the body that controls the military under President Xi Jinping. Zhang, a long-time close ally of Xi with a family history tied to the Communist Party's early leaders, now faces probes for serious violations of discipline and law. Alongside him, General Zhenli, head of the Joint Staff Department, which handles war planning, is also under scrutiny. These moves have given Xi direct oversight of key command positions, strengthening his authority but also highlighting deep problems inside the PLA. The issues began to surface more widely a few years ago, with major troubles in the PLA's rocket force, the unit in charge of China's nuclear and long-range missiles. Internal checks uncovered widespread corruption in how equipment was bought and built. Reports showed that some missile silos had water filled in them instead of proper fuel, and launch systems did not work correctly. These flaws made parts of China's missile force unreliable, a serious risk for national defense. Several rocket force commanders were removed at that time, followed by 2 former defense ministers and dozens of other generals. Over the past few years, more than 20 high-ranking officers have been targeted in this campaign, including Admiral Miao Hua, a senior political overseer in the military who was suspended earlier for similar reasons. The problems stemmed from officers taking bribes to approve poor quality work or overpriced contracts, putting personal gain ahead of military strength. The people involved in the latest cases include figures once seen as untouchable because of their experience and connections to Xi. Zhang, a veteran officer with battlefield experience, was viewed as the second most important military leader. His removal, along with Liu's, extends the investigations right into the core leadership group. Official statements from China's Defense Ministry describe the cases as involving grave breaches of rules, which in the party's system can mean corruption, abuse of power, or actions that weaken central control. Some reports suggest the accused may have undermined the party's full authority over the armed forces, a serious charge that points to possible disloyalty. How these officers became compromised ties back to long-standing patterns of favoritism and money-driven deals in military spending. In the rocket force, graft led to equipment that could fail in a real crisis. No confirmed details have emerged of direct spying for foreign countries in the early cases, but the missile defects became worldwide known through assessments by United States intelligence agencies. A few years ago, American officials reported the issues with water in missiles and faulty systems based on their own sources. This exposure embarrassed Beijing and showed how internal weaknesses could be spotted and used by rivals. In the current investigations, there are accusations that sensitive information about China's nuclear weapons program was passed to the US along with bribe-taking. If true, this would represent a major security breach. The United States has played a notable role in highlighting these military shortcomings. American intelligence not only uncovered the rocket force problems, but has continued to assess that corruption and the ongoing removals are hurting the PLA's overall ability to fight effectively. US experts say the shakeups disrupt training, planning, and trust within the ranks, potentially delaying China's military goals, such as being fully prepared for complex operations. Some American officials view the situation as a sign that Xi faces challenges in keeping full loyalty among top officers. At the same time, the leaks and public reports from the US have added pressure on China, turning internal issues into international concerns and affecting how other countries see the PLA's strength. Possible consequences if these problems had not been addressed could have been dangerous. An armed force with faulty weapons and divided leadership might struggle in any conflict, weakening China's ability to deter threats, especially in tense areas like Taiwan or nearby seas. Unchecked corruption could also spread further, harming modernization efforts that Xi has pushed for years. Some claims mention past tensions or armed clashes involving guards loyal to different sides. While no public proof of an organized coup attempt has emerged, the speed and scale of the recent actions suggest Xi moved quickly to remove any risks before they grew. China avoided the worst outcomes through decisive steps by its leadership. Internal watchdog bodies carried out detailed audits and investigations, likely using reports from within the system and routine checks to identify suspects. Once concerns arose, the affected officers were swiftly isolated and probed, preventing any open break in command. Xi's long-running campaign against corruption, which has disciplined hundreds of thousands of officials across government and military since he took power, provided the tools for this response. By replacing those under investigation with trusted figures, the system has maintained outward order and reaffirmed central control. For a country where military loyalty is key to overall stability, this episode shows the priority placed on preventing threats from inside. As probes continue, the world is watching closely to see how these changes affect China's defense posture in the coming months.